either a Con Ed or a NIPA interconnection point in New York City. We're currently studying 4 different locations where we can interconnect, but it's narrowing very quickly, ultimately where we'll connect. The transmission project is about a $1.9 billion project, and we're actually going to be going out for bids here very shortly in early August to firm up the cost of the project. The actual, a lot of people ask, how do we pay for this project? And so the easy answer is it's the shippers of the line. So this is a little different model than other transmission projects. We actually go out and we find customers who are interested in shipping their power on our line. So as transmission developers, we will never actually own the electricity. We simply transport it. We're kind of like the truck that takes it from the manufacturing facility down to the retail customer. But we never actually own the electricity in between. So our job is to have a transmission line that connects generation to load in a safe, secure, and environmentally respectful manner. I appreciate the opportunity to hear your comments this evening, and as Dr. Pell said, I will be here all evening and happy to take questions once the formal proceeding is over.
Thank you very much, Don. While Don was speaking, it gave me a chance to think about what else I might mention to you. And a couple of things. There is a DOE website separate from Don's website, which is specifically for the preparation of the environmental impact statement. And it's in the Federal Register notice, a copy of which is at the registration desk, and I'll tell it to you again. It's chpexpresseis.org. That's CHP, the word express, EIS.org. And all of our environmental documents will be on that .org site, and the 2 sites actually are linked together so that if you go to one site, you can easily get to the other. We're doing that deliberately as a convenience to you, so that you can see everything that's out there that's in the public domain. And our site, our EIS site, actually also gives you a link to the State of New York Public Service Commission, because the applicant has filed a major document with the PSC, and this will take you there directly to that site as well. So there's a great deal of material for you to read, and also there's a link to our Department of Energy presidential permit site that provides the original application that was filed by TDI for a presidential permit. So, as I said earlier, it's all there for you to peruse at your convenience. This is not a DOE environmental impact statement alone. We have 4 cooperating agencies that are partners with us in the preparation of the document and that intend to use this same document for their own regulatory purposes. They include the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the United States Environmental Protection Agency Region 2, which is headquartered in Manhattan, and 2 of the State of New York agencies, the Public Service Commission and the Department of Environmental Conservation. So there are 5 bodies involved in the preparation of this document. And it's conceivable, before too much more time passes, that other agencies could join as well, because the process does provide for governmental agencies to request cooperating agency status if it's in their interest to do so, or if they have special expertise in the subject. So I think that pretty much covers most of the things I should tell you, and of course if I think of anything else as we go along, I will do so. Not going to move to the actual presentation of comments themselves, and the first speaker tonight is a state senator from the 42nd District of New York, John Bonasek. I hope I did that correctly this time.
You did a good job, thank you.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to... I'll be brief. I want to thank you, Mr. Powell, for coming, and I'd like to thank Mr. Jessup for being here and making the brief presentation. I just have a few questions, just so I can become more educated. We had a bad experience with the Niagara line, which had 8 counties very upset, with hurting property values, blight on the land, and increasing the energy rates had that project gone forward. I know that this will not affect property values. I know it's not going to hurt the blight on the land. My question specifically was the impact on utility rates for the people living outside the city of New York. And I had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Jessen privately. His generic answer is that there would be a tendency to be downward, but that is a decision within the jurisdiction of the Public Service Commission. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Okay. How did you decide the capacity for this line to enhance 1 million, say, residents in Manhattan? And what percentage of the city's needs would this cable line take care of, if you know?
Mr. Bonasek, this is not intended to be a Q&A, and I really would
Okay.
prefer not
That's
to
all right.
divert it. But let me add, they're fair questions, and they should be directed to Don Jessen. And as he said, he's going to be here after the formal taking of comments is completed. So please avail yourself of him. I do not have those answers.
Okay. Last but not least, I like the idea of hydro, and I like the idea of wind coming out of Canada. Will there always be an endless supply that this transporting of energy will always have the capacity to feed the city? If you
Again,
know.
I am not familiar with the precise sources of power that Mr. Jessen hopes to deliver, because since the sources are in Canada, we don't look at them in any great detail from my vantage point at DOE. But again, it's a fair question, and Don's the guy who should answer it.
Okay, and this may be a stupid question.
There are no stupid questions.
When you put a line in the Hudson River, you're still above the ground, the cable itself, or is it under the ground, under the river?
It's submerged beneath the surface, except where there are rock outcrops that can't easily be dredged, in which case they place a concrete blanket or some such similar device over the cable. The cable is never exposed, because if it's exposed, then you run the risk of getting snagged by a ship's anchor or something, and that would be very serious damage.
So it's protected. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Mr. Brown.